Hello, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. In this video, we will introduce you to the different networks wireless locks that are compatible with the CA4K software. We will be discussing the Trilogy Networks wireless locks and also the Architect Networks wireless locks. As mentioned in the introduction to wireless locks video, there are two types of wireless locks. They are the mortise models and the cylindrical models. Much like gateways and expanders, wireless locks must be discovered and added to the CA4K software. Once they are discovered and added to the CA4K software, you must download Continental firmware to them to make them Continental compatible. The Trilogy Networks wireless locks come in three models. The first is the PDL. This model contains a prox reader and a keypad. Please also take note of the red and green LEDs. In addition to the LEDs, a few special keys are noted. They are the star key and the AL key. The AL key is used during the reset procedures. The next lock is the PL model. This model contains only a prox reader. The next lock is the DL model. This model contains only a keypad. The Networks Architect series of locks also comes in mortise and cylindrical, but has many other options you must be concerned with. Some of the options are the electronics control unit, auto deadbolt, Bluetooth feature, lockdown indicators, key override, and card reader types. The electronic control unit is available as a surface mount on the back of the door or a mortise type that is inserted in the door. Displaying on the screen is a mortise type Architect model with a mortise electronics control unit inserted in the door. As per the wireless locks overview diagram, the CA4K software communicates on a local area network to a router. The router can either communicate to a gateway via a network cable or 802.11, also known as wireless. The gateway then communicates directly to a wireless lock or to an optional expander that communicates to a wireless lock. Next, for our demonstration, we will be using a PDL 8200. The PDL 8200 is an I-class model wireless lock. Unpack the wireless lock and take note of all the documentation and hardware in the box. A wireless lock contains door hardware, keys, door contacts, and other items. The documentation includes the wireless lock installation instructions and a yellow lock ID card with a serial number on it. Included with the wireless lock installation instructions are a few other must-read documents. These documents include important instructions and warnings. Please read each one carefully. A wireless lock is powered by four 1.5-volt alkaline size C batteries. They are either in a sealed battery pack or battery pack with replaceable batteries. The total battery voltage is 6 volts. The PDL 8200 lock we will be using contains a back box with the battery pack in it. Remove the two screws on the back box and remove the cover. On a new lock, the battery pack will be unplugged. Plug in the battery pack, power up, and default the lock as per the following steps. Very important. The reset procedures will vary for the different model locks. The reset procedure will be noted in the installation instructions and are also available in the Continental Quick Help System. The Continental Quick Help System can be found on the Continental website under Resources. Here are the steps to default the lock. With the batteries disconnected, hold down the AL key for 10 seconds and release to ensure discharge of all capacitors. Connect the batteries and listen for 3 beeps. If the 3 beeps are not heard, start over. Within 5 seconds of hearing the beeps, press and hold AL key down until beeping starts. Next, listen for another series of 6 beeps with LED flashes, followed by 10 seconds of silence. At this point, the lock is ready to be discovered and added to the CA4K system. Once it is added into the CA4K software, take note of the firmware version. If the lock is brand new, the firmware version will reflect Alarm Lock firmware. If the lock has already been downloaded with Continental firmware, the firmware version will reflect Continental firmware. In addition to Continental firmware, the model number will begin with the letter C. Note, after the lock is defaulted, but before the lock receives a full data download from CA4K, only one user code is programmed into the lock. The user code is 123456. Enter this code and the lock should unlock for 6 seconds and the green LED should blink a few times. Very important. Before the CA4K software can communicate with wireless locks, the wireless locks option must be enabled in the CA4K software under System Settings. Next, launch the CA4K software. Upon launching the CA4K software, click System and then click System Settings. On the bottom of the screen, verify the Use Wireless Locks checkbox is selected. It should already be selected since we already discovered and added in a gateway and expander. If it is not selected, select it and click Save. Next, launch the Configuration Wireless Lock screen. Click Configuration on the main menu and then click Wireless Locks on the drop-down menu. The Wireless Locks configuration screen displays. The top half of the screen should already display at least one assigned gateway. For our demonstration, we also have one expander from the previous videos. Next, click the Find Locks button and then click the Search button. On a large system, the search function can take a minute or longer. To make the search quicker, you can select the number of locks to discover. The more locks, the longer the search will take. Take note of the serial number on the lock ID card. After the search is complete, select the lock with the correct serial number and click the Add Selected Lock button. Upon clicking the Add Selected button, the lock should be attached to the gateway or expander. Next, click Close. At this point, perform a firmware download to the lock to verify the latest firmware is sent to the lock. Click Download and then click Send Firmware to Selected Lock. Once the lock receives Continental firmware, the firmware version should reflect Continental firmware, and the part number of the lock should display a C before the PDL 8200. Next, close out the wireless lock screen. Next, click Configuration Panels and verify the lock was automatically added in under Panels. Next, click Configure Readers and verify the lock was automatically added in under Readers. Now, like a standard panel and reader, you must include this lock in an access group and apply the access group to a badge. Very important. Once the CA4K programming is complete, you must perform a data download to the lock. Failure to perform a data download will result in the lock not functioning. This concludes the Getting Started with Networks Wireless Locks video. Again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video.